Welcome to another edition of the Gridiron Report. I'm Jared Johnson. I'm joined by the mighty Joe Yeager. Well, mighty Joe, I wrote a story after being out of spring ball a couple of weeks ago. This is before spring break and all that. They broke for spring break, and then the tournament happened and all that. But I said, this team certainly looks different this year. And I know that can be something overused or a term where people are like, oh, okay, they're doing great in the workroom and who's the strength coach and all that. But look, Texas Tech has the #1 transfer portal class in the country, according to several publications, including us with 247 Sports. And that's for a reason. They brought in 6 4-star recruits or 4-star transfers on the defensive side alone, many of them up front. But in all 3 levels of the sport. And the most recent news, and this is huge news, David Bailey, one of the premier edges in the country, definitely one of the top players in the transfer portal overall. I think he was number 10 overall in terms of players in the transfer portal. We're talking about thousands of guys in the transfer portal this year, and he's top 10. 5.5 sacks, 5.5 forced fumbles, 7 sacks. You look at Pro Football Focus, he graded out as perhaps the top edge rusher in the country. You add that to Romello Height, another 4-star transfer you brought in from Georgia Tech. On the other side, we have confirmed that they're going to be on opposite edges of the formation, rushing together. Sometimes they both will be sometimes standing up, sometimes with a hand on the ground. But, mind Joe, just with those 2 guys alone, like you imagine plugging them into the defense this past season, what it would have meant in terms of how many extra wins. Forget all the other additions, but, mind Joe, how big of a pickup is David Bailey on top of what you already had with this class?
Well, it seems like at this point they're just kind of flexing in the portal.
Yeah.
You got everything already, and then you're just adding stuff on top, cherries on top of the sundae and whatnot. The depth at linebacker right now, outside and inside, and the players you got right there is just absurd. Even if you didn't add in Height and Bailey, and assuming that the other guys are healthy, like Spencer,
Isaac Smith, he's been out there,
Isaac Smith and
Adedire, excuse me. Sound like Porky Pig there, but Joseph Adedire, I still can't say it, Adedire. He is at a practice. Right. Yeah, I'm just going to call him Joe. The other Joe. He has a practice. I'll tell you another guy to watch out for, Eddie Smith, monster redshirt freshman. He's one of those guys, when he hits somebody or hits a sled, you stop and look and say, what the heck was that? It sounds like a cannon goes off when he hits something. 6'5", 300 pounds. He's a dude that McGuire and some of the other coaches have told me kind of like, hey, watch out for Eddie Smith. And he destroyed the scout team last year in practice. So he's a guy who may be third string for you, but might be pressed into service. And he is a monster. Yeah.
And that's just the thing. Up front in the front 7, you're going to have like third string players on this unit that could start for a lot of Big 12 teams. That's how much talent there is there. And Bailey, certainly right there at the very top. Just looking at him, he goes about 240, 250.
Yeah.
You say, well, not that big of a dude, really, but he's a physical player. That's something that really stands out. He just bull rushes through people.
Yeah.
And just a very strong guy. Great technique, plays low. Gets up, has excellent leverage, gets up under the tackle who's trying to hold him out, and just blows him back, and makes a direct cut straight to the quarterback. And the fact that you got a guy who is really that physical and that strong suggests to me that he's going to be a guy who can also set the edge pretty well. And so that's just like the ultimate outside linebacker defensive end. When you got somebody who can both rush the passer and be effective against the run. You don't have to sub him in and out situationally too much, although with the depth that you've got, you can certainly do that without any questions whatsoever. But it's just, it's an embarrassment of riches up there right now with what they've got. And Bailey is something else.
Yeah, and helping them is you got, all Big 12 performer, borderline All-American Jacob Rodriguez right next to you, cleaning up a lot of mistakes. Ben Roberts, look, he had an up-and-down season last year. I get that, I agree. But he's played a lot of football, and he is a tackling machine. He has made big plays. Like, again, I go back to that Cincinnati game. How different would it be if you lose that game at home to Cincinnati? And you don't win that game without Ben Roberts making like 3 or 4 plays. It looked like a Jacob Rodriguez type game, to be honest. But
you got John Curry as well.
John Curry, who looks like a monster. I saw him banging a helmet against his head before practice the other day.
Well, that's good.
Running around. Yeah, I know. He's actually a really sharp kid if you get a chance to talk to him. But helping Height and David Bailey, really being able to unleash them, because they are pure, legit pass rushers, which he didn't have last year. He had some guys who could rush. I think Jacob Rodriguez led you in sacks, his inside linebacker spot, among one of his gabillion duties on defense. But up front, Lee Hunter, who you brought in from UCF, another 4-star guy. Anthony Holmes Jr., he's a 3-star transfer, but, I mean, his resume looks very similar to Lee Hunter's. And he came over with Coach Sheil Wood, the new defensive coordinator from Houston. He looks great at practice. Skylar Gill Howard is another dude. You haven't had these kind of defensive linemen up front, and specifically not experienced guys with that size and that many of them. I mean, Amarian Banks.
If he can come back.
Yeah, no, and he's been out of practice, and he's expected. There's no reason for him to be out of practice right now. They know what they have in him, and he had a pretty bad knee injury, but he was so good last year compared to the rest of the defensive line that him actually holding his ground and not being moved and pushing guys away is kind of messed up the continuity, because the rest of the guys were on roller skates a lot of the time. And going back and watching, I was like, it's like it doesn't mesh, because he's dominating his position, his area, his gap, his responsibility, but the other guys aren't. But it's remarkable, like when he came in as a true freshman, how sloppy he looked and out of shape, and he had a lot of bad weight. He looks like a walking mountain. I was walking next to him in practice earlier this week. The guy's a monster. We know he could do it. Amir Washington is like 4th string right now, defensive tackle. Like, I mean, and he's really good. He looks good in practice, And going into last year, we were like, he's going to be the savior. He's going to be the most impactful guy. I think he's still good. I think he still has a bright future. And then one more thing I want to make: the secondary has been completely overhauled. Marion Horn is one of the only guys. And Brendan Jordan, you'll see play some too. But all that's going to help free up Bailey and Romello Height, who is a freaking. If you put Bailey and Height next to each other, Height's the guy you're like, holy crap! The guy is, as the kids like to say, rocked up. He's ripped. He's quick. Looks like a panther out there. I know I've said that before, but I can't believe Tech has those two guys coming off the edge at the same time. I hope they stay healthy and the dream materialize, because like you said, cherry on top, embarrassment of riches. And you got to thank McGuire, James Blanchard, and obviously Cody Campbell and the generous donors and friends of the program, right, Joe?
Yep, that's right. So it's going to be a lot of fevered anticipation.
Yeah.
For these next several months to see what it's all actually going to look like out there on the field, but it's going to be exciting. It
is exciting. We'll have more content leading up to kickoff these months, of course, and more coming to you from spring ball. But for now, Mike Joe, great stuff from you as always. Thank you all for watching, and until next time.